Hey guys, welcome to CakeWalk Cambridge. I'm Aisha and this is my second video, how to craft the perfect timetable. So in this video, I'm going to reveal the top 10 tips that one has to incorporate and make use of to craft your perfect timetable. So I'm just gonna dive right into this. Number one is figure out your strengths and weaknesses. So, when you have your subjects in place for your IGCSEs, what you need to do is you need to mark down which subjects are your strengths and which ones are your weaknesses. And you allocate more time to your weaknesses and a little less than that to your strengths. You never strike you never allocate too much time to either, because that is when your strength may turn into a weakness as well, and no one wants that happening. You have to be able to strike a balance. So first you need to mark down which subjects are your strength and which are your weaknesses, and it really doesn't matter if you have more strengths or more weaknesses, as long as you figure out which is what. Number two, you need to figure out which period of the day you study best. So, for example, I am an early riser and I am an early bird. So, I study best early in the morning, but and like later in the afternoon as well. So, in the afternoon, I'd study like okay, and past seven, I'm a zombie. I can't study past seven. After seven is Netflix time. So, what you need to be able to do is recognize which period of the day you're able to absorb most information. So, my dad, on one hand, always studied late in the night, whereas my mom studied early in the morning. So, you need to be able to figure that out. And once you've done that, you free your schedule accordingly. Okay, like you keep blocks of time to the morning to study and less than that to the night, or you do all your studies in the morning and try to be productive at that time based on how you study in the morning. Number three is working out the time it takes to do your homework. So obviously you're an IGCSE student, you're expected to have your school is expected to like give you homework. So once you figure out how much time it will take you to do your homework, that will like keep changing on a day-to-day basis. But you need to have an idea of the average amount of time it's going to take you, because you can't sit and make a daily schedule. Like if you can't keep changing it every day, you need to be consistent and stick with your timetable for like a stretch, some period of time, for it to actually have an effect on what you're doing. So what you need to do is, as soon as you start your IGCSEs, that is in grade 10 or grade 9, you need to be able to like keep like, let's say, an hour or an hour and a half dedicated to your homework, and that is separate from your study time. Don't incorporate it in your study time and be like, if you do your homework for an hour and study for an hour, don't be like, I studied for 2 hours, because that's not what you actually did. Homework is just for you to keep in touch with the subject. Studying is for you to understand the subject. So remember, there's like a clear distinction between the two. So you need to be able to like factor out time for your homework as well. I always suggest doing homework immediately after school or late after you're done studying. Don't study and then do your homework and then study again, because that breaks the rhythm and the flow of your thoughts and processing of information. So, like I used to, mine always varied. Okay, I used to actually prefer doing my homework immediately after school, because I like to get it off my chest and be able to study with like a clear mind, with like nothing on my plate. So I'd say if you're that kind of person, do it in the evening. Or if you're the kind of person who wants to understand the subject and then write down answers, then you must do your homework later in the evening. Number four is called mix and match. So, I as a student always like to study two or more subjects a day and not allocate one day to one subject. Okay, or like one subject to one day, because what happens is that becomes quite monotonous, and sometimes subjects are linked with each other. So, like studying enzymes in biology and studying chemical reactions in chemistry always helps you, because they kind of go together, you know. So doing that always helps you. So I would recommend mixing and matching subjects and like allocating an equal amount of time to the subjects, unless one is a strength and one is a weakness. And I'd always say combine strengths and weaknesses so that you feel motivated to study when you're studying your strengths, And when, because it's your subject, like for me that was bio. And you also kind of feel pumped to study your weakness after you study your strength. Or you feel like, so basically you can either do it this way: you study your weakness after you study your strength, because after you've studied your strength you feel confident, so you feel like moving on and continuing to study. Or if you want to study your weakness first, that kind of the strength that you're going to study later serves to be an incentive to you for studying the weakness. So I'd say both ways it works, as long as you mix and match subjects. Because studying one subject, trust me, is never going to be as effective as studying two or more subjects a day. My next piece of advice to you is take your school timetable into account. I can't stress on how important this is. Like, what I mean by this is, by usually in my previous school, on a Thursday was the heaviest day because I had no free classes. I had all three sciences and Spanish and maths, which was quite mentally draining and quite exhausting. So what I did was, Thursdays I used to like take it easy on myself, or I'd start Thursdays after school by studying my strength. So I'd always be like, Thursday I finished school with math, which I found like not very intriguing or interesting. So I'd start studying Thursday after a period of time, obviously, bio. Because bio was my strength. Bio, I liked studying, it genuinely interested me. So studying bio kind of rejuvenated me and gave me that push to study other subjects. So I'd always say factor your school timetable into account. My next piece of advice to you is to not take a complete day off, but to have a series of short breaks in between. So, as I told you in my previous video, it's always consistency that is the key. So, by taking small breaks throughout your day while studying, you kind of feel rejuvenated every time you take a break, and you feel motivated to get back into the session. And by not taking a complete day off, you don't have that guilt that's lingering inside of you that's telling you, go study, go Aisha, go study, because you know you're going to go get back to your books. And once again, it helps you keep in touch with the subject. My next piece of advice to you is factor in light days. Now, what exactly is a light day? A light day for me would be studying one strength subject or two of my strength subjects with math or something like that, or one strength subject with math. That's a light day. So I'd say light days are important because they kind of give you a break from that, strenuous timetable that you're like going to be going through every day. So if you're going to have a light day, you need to be able to have a light day on a day that coincides with like a family function or an occasion or a birthday party or something, because that you're obviously going to be in that kind of excited state of mind. So I'd always say, don't take a light day on any random day. Plan your light days. Like for me, if I was going to go for a friend's birthday party on a Saturday or a Thursday, let's say it's a Thursday, I'd be like, Thursday is my light day. I'm not going to study much on Thursday because I'm going to be more focused on probably getting ready to go for the party. And I'd make up for that on Saturday, but Saturday is going to be a bit more strenuous. But it's not going to be overly exhausting because I'm not taking days off. I'm keeping in touch with my subjects every day. So, that consistency kind of helps you because you don't have to play catch up with anything, you know? My next piece of advice to you is you need to be able to change your timetable according to exam season and holiday season. Now, this means that your timetable has to be flexible and you have to have the gumption and the mind to keep changing it. Okay, you need to be ready. You need to be ready for change because change is the only constant. So basically, what I would do is I would have a timetable from June to September. Okay, and then October, November was Diwali break, and then Christmas break came in. So I would take a few days off for Diwali, a few days off for Christmas. Okay, but after that, after taking those days off, I need to get myself back into the rhythm of studying. And that's not easy. You can't get back into your strenuous timetable, right? You need to be able to ease yourself into it so you don't get bored, tired, or you don't feel worried about the fact that you don't remember any of what you did. So, what you need to be able to do is you need to be able to keep changing your timetables. And I'd say you need to make it more strenuous and more rigorous before your exam season. You need to be able to incorporate more subjects. We need to be able to incorporate past paper solving and less homework. More studying, more past paper solving, less homework. And for this, I'd say you need to be really organized and methodical in terms of your planning, because homework should not be kept for last minute. I know a lot of kids do it at like 11 o'clock if the due date is midnight. But I'd say finish it early in the morning, because trust me, that will help you. Okay. So you need to be able to know that, I'm not going to be able to stick with this timetable throughout. It's humanly impossible. Even if you're a super focused child, you're going to have to keep changing it. So I'd say you need to be able to have a timetable that is not rigid, because you'll obviously have holidays in the middle and stuff. Okay, and if you have a holiday on like a Wednesday in school, suddenly school declares a holiday, you should be able to take stuff from a Friday, like subjects from a Friday, and complete it on Wednesday. So Friday gets a little lighter for you. Okay, so and if you want, you can probably add more on a Friday, or you can take it as a light day. Doesn't matter. But to like get yourself into the rhythm of knowing that your IGCSEs do have like a certain value, and getting that A star is important. I'd say this is extremely important. And my last piece of advice to you is quality over quantity. So I can't stress enough on this. So I had so many kids in my class who studied for 11 hours on a Saturday and everything. And I was never able to do that, because I told you after 7, I'm a zombie. So that kind of stressed me out, because I always thought I was doing less. But then I realized less could be more if you're doing less better than they are doing more. Okay, so I'd say it's important to be able to prioritize quality over quantity, because if you're going to do a small portion on a day but do it really well, trust me, that'll take you like a long way. Okay, because you won't have to keep revisiting the topic. You'll just be thorough with it in one session, and you can move on to the next in another session. So I'd always say, if even if your mom and dad tell you like study an hour more, you should tell them like, I've studied this really well. You can take it up for me right now. Ask me any question. I'll be able to answer you. So I'd say factor quality, like prioritize quality over quantity, because that in the long run is much more important than telling your friends, I studied 12 hours today. So, because trust me, it's going to help you. And it's important to be able to learn something right the first time, rather than rereading the chapter over and over again, because that's kind of useless in the long run, because you're wasting time being productive. Okay, so I'd always say quality over quantity. So don't study too long. Okay, study an adequate amount of time, but whatever you're doing, do it well. So those were my 10 pieces of advice to you on how to craft the perfect timetable. And I would say a perfect timetable is not about making an Excel sheet and writing this time to this time you do this, like a school timetable. I'd say you just get a diary, or like get a piece of paper and write down, on Monday you're gonna do this, 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 and you have to do this. And if you have time in pencil, you can write below, do this. So I'd say it's all about pushing yourself to do better. And even if you do it for like a week, try it out on a weekly basis. If it's working for you, copy the same scheme down over a month. And if you keep sticking to it, as I told you, consistency is key. You're going to be able to like learn better, organize yourself better. You'll be more structured in terms of your approach towards completing your homework on time, which is like creates a brilliant impression on teachers, and towards studying, because you will have a clear mindset of what you want to do and what you need to accomplish and where you're going to be in a month's time, or by the time it's your IGCSEs. So yeah, that was my video. I hope it helped you. If it did help you, please like this video. And if you have any questions, or if you need help about how you can go about creating your own timetable or schedule, you can always email me. My email can be found on the YouTube channel. If this video helped you and you think it would help a friend, please share it with your friend. Um, these tips really helped me, so I think they should help you. And yeah, just put your mind to it and we'll be good. My next video is going to now start the biology syllabus for IGCSE. So we're going to start with chapter 1. So if you're an IGCSE bio student, make sure you check it out. Let's get through this together.